In the middle of the night, without any fanfare, Hamas handed over the bodies of 4 Israeli hostages to the Red Cross, who then passed them on to the Israeli police and IDF. The bodies of Tzachi Idan from Kibbutz Nachal Oz, Itzhak Elgarat and Ohad Yahalomi from Kibbutz Nir Oz, and 85-year-old Shlomo Mansour from Kibbutz Kitzufim were all identified by morning. President Isaac Herzog tweeted, "In this painful moment, there is some solace in knowing that they will be laid to rest in dignity in Israel." Israel then released more than 600 Palestinian prisoners, including 71 who were serving life sentences. Israel delayed the release for several days in protest over what it called cruel treatment of hostages during their handover by Hamas. The exchanges followed a day of mourning in Israel. More than 100,000 people lined the roads as the funeral procession of Shiri Bibas and her 2 little boys, Ariel and Kfir, passed by. Video of the little red-headed boys wrapped in their frightened mother's arms became the symbol of the treachery and cruelty that Hamas perpetrated on October 7, 2023. Shiri's husband, Yarden, who was also taken captive from their kibbutz near Oz, was released on February 1st, only to receive the bodies of his wife and children back 3 weeks later. At the funeral, Yarden expressed his love for his wife, calling her his best friend.
Do you remember our last decision together in the safe room? I asked if we should fight or surrender. You said fight, so I fought. Shiri, I'm sorry I couldn't protect all of you. If only I had known what would happen, I would not have fired.
He spoke to 4-year-old Ariel.
I hope you're enjoying paradise. I'm sure you're making all the angels laugh with your silly jokes and impressions. I hope there are plenty of butterflies for you to watch, just like you did during our picnics.
And to 9-month-old Kfir.
I need you to know that I love you a lot and miss you a lot. I miss nibbling on you and hearing your laughter.
Shiri's sister, who also lost her parents that day, asks Shiri for forgiveness.
I promise you, as I promised Mom and Dad, that the monsters beyond the fence will not succeed in their mission. They will not defeat us. They will not break us. On the contrary, their mission failed because we united, because we grew stronger, because we became invincible. They lost.
The overnight releases complete the first phase of handing over around 1,800 Palestinian prisoners in exchange for 33 Israeli hostages, leaving 59 hostages in Hamas captivity, around 20 of whom are believed to be alive. President Trump's special Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, says he believes he can get an extension of Phase 1 and the release of more hostages.
The Gaza ceasefire is set to end this weekend unless negotiators can quickly work out an agreement to continue it. Israel is sending a team to talks in Cairo to try to work out such an agreement.
We are ready to make the framework longer in a return to release of more hostages.
America's top Mideast negotiator, Steve Witkoff, is headed to the region to push for extending the ceasefire, and he's clear that Hamas cannot remain in the key areas because of its terrorism.
There's no room for Hamas in Gaza, in the West Bank. You can see from their actions that they haven't earned that right to be there.
Hamas is refusing to disarm. Zahar says Israel can't put up with that.
This is, from our point of view, total unacceptable.
Israel's defense minister agrees Hamas must no longer be allowed to govern or have the means to fight in Gaza.
Hamas will not remain in control of Gaza, neither for civil matters nor military. It will not be because it cannot be.
Katz also says Israel won't withdraw from the vital Philadelphia corridor, which Hamas used to smuggle in weapons.
The IDF is maintaining a defined buffer zone in Gaza.
Israel's long-term goal is to prevent Hamas from having the weapons to again attack the Jewish nation. But a Wall Street Journal report says Hamas is ready to return to guerrilla warfare in Gaza if the ceasefire ends. It's recruited thousands of new troops, has appointed new commanders, and has turned unexploded ordnance into deadly IEDs to blow up Israeli troops. And in the U.S., a leading U.S. congressman is now making a change on the area commonly known as the West Bank. He says his committee staff should now call it Judea and Samaria, the biblical names for that part of Israel. House Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman Brian Mast writes in a memo to the committee, "Jewish roots in this region span centuries, and we must recognize that fact in both word and deed." He adds Congress needs to recognize Israel's rightful claim to the cradle of Jewish civilization. On the ground, at least 10 people were wounded in a ramming attack at a bus stop in central Israel Thursday, apparently carried out by a Palestinian who was living illegally in Israel. Israel is concerned about an outbreak of terror attacks in Judea and Samaria. The Muslim fasting month of Ramadan begins as early as tonight. Often there has been an upsurge in terror attacks during that time.